Jesus left you on earth because he has a calling for your life. How does Jesus work with you? Well, first he sees you. And then he calls you to follow him. The second thing we see is that after Jesus sees you, then the good news, he will transform you completely. Finally comes a challenge. Jesus calls you to leave everything. When Jesus calls, big things happen.
This is the Active Church. To God be the glory.
Let me give you a modern day picture, a modern day translation. It's this. You know, if a guy thinks he's strong, Jesus would say, would he not first check out that other guy? First of all, to see how big he is. Second of all, to see how well he can fight before he picks a fight with him. Will he not do that? If the guy's clever, he will. I mean, imagine, you come and you say, I'm going to fight Mikey Boy. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to smack him. Then the other says, you don't even know who Mikey Boy is, man. I don't care who he is. I'll just, you know, like Shane there in the promo. And then the guy comes in and one day walks into Mikey Boy. And the oak's about 3 feet taller than him. And so they start sparring because Mikey Boy heard he wants to fight. And then he realized not only is Mikey Boy big, not only is he strong, he's fast. And Mikey Boy, one little punch, on the floor, in a coma. When he comes out of hospital after 3 weeks of coma because he got smacked so hard by Mikey Boy, what is everyone going to say? You're going to clap Mikey Boy. Effective as like Paul. Everyone's going to mock him. You're the dude that was going to hit Mikey Boy. And how does Jesus relate? Now, I mean, this thing about kings and what you don't get, it like goes over your head. I can check it. Shh. But this thing about you with Mikey Boy, you know what I mean? Who's about 7'8" and, you know, knocked out the heavyweight champion last week. You understand what I'm saying? That you understand. Some of you might be like a little bit thought light, you know what I mean? And you don't think about taking on oaks like Mikey Boy. But some of us are clever, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to have a big mouth about Mikey Boy unless we know we can beat him. So these are hectic words. And how does this all relate to being a disciple? I want to just tell you 3 things about being a disciple. Being a disciple requires putting Jesus ahead of everything. All right, Luke 14, 26 and 27, he says, if anyone comes to me and does not, in other words, they come to him, they come to Jesus, and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And anyone who does not carry his cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. And at this point, if you've been listening, you should be thinking, wow, is the Bible telling me to hate all of these people in my life? Is the Bible saying to me, I must hate my mother, I must hate my father, I must hate my wife, my husband, my children, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, everyone? You should be thinking that, because if you were listening, you should, because that's what I thought when I read this. The answer is not quite. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 37 and 38, Jesus actually says, if you love them more than me. And in fact, if you look at the Greek word here for hate, it's a word called misio. And this word, I mean, what it means is to hate, detest, especially to persecute. In other words, you go and you're beating someone up every day, you're persecuting them. That's what it means. But it also means, by extension, to love less. And if you go and you study what Jesus meant in the language that they used in that day, he was saying, unless you love all those people less than me, you are not worthy to be my disciples. There's a guy named Robertson, and he says this: it's only where the element of choice comes in, as it sometimes does, when father or mother opposes Christ, then one must not hesitate. And what that's saying is, if someone comes against you, and says, I don't want you to follow Jesus. Unless you love Jesus more than you love that person who's telling you that, you won't follow him. Because Jesus himself said, you can't serve two masters. You have to choose. That's just the reality. You have to choose. Because otherwise you'll be torn. And what I want to tell you is that the church is full of Christians who've got their one foot in the world and their other foot in the kingdom. And sometimes, they tend to be a little bit more towards the kingdom, and other times they tend to be a little bit more towards the world. They come to Hillsong Week and they're on fire, so now kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? But then 3 weeks after Hillsong Week, then party. So now world. You understand what I'm saying? Then they've got to do the washing or something, and they miss church. You know what I'm saying? No, I had to do chores until like 1 in the morning, or I had to get up at 5 to do chores, and at 10 I still wasn't finished, so I couldn't make it for church. That all of a sudden happens. Then they come to J Activation. Then they saw me on fire again. And then you see them all around, and then it begins to dwindle and drift, especially for the school kids in December when it's a school holidays. Man, then they get up to nonsense, all sorts of nonsense. I know you guys are all good, but that's what happens out there. You understand what I'm saying? And then January starts off like really bad, eh? Like really bad until they go on camp. Ooh, whoa, oh, ooh, whoa, oh. You understand what I'm saying? Then they're on fire again, man. Then they're on fire again. But then the week after camp, there's a party on Saturday night. And if you've got two masters, that's why you're torn. You're going to live your life being torn. And that's what Jesus said about being a disciple requires counting the real cost of following Jesus. You see, to be saved costs you nothing, but to be a disciple costs you a lot. Luke 14, verse 28 to 30. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it? For if he lays the foundation and is not able to finish it, everyone who sees him will ridicule him, saying, this fellow began to build and was not able to finish. Salvation is free for you. Because Jesus died. He paid all the price. You don't pay any price to get saved. You give up a couple of tears, but you give up a couple of tears because of the fact that you messed up. And you know that you're messed up, and you know that you're in a desperate situation, and that you desperately need to be saved. So salvation is totally and utterly free. But discipleship costs, and it costs big time. When Jesus calls, there's a cost. The cost of sacrifice, the cost of submission, the cost of worship. Worship's not only when we come here, Jesus, you are holy, Lord. That's the latter part of worship. Okay, worship means I'm actually putting God first. If I worship the Lord my God, it means He is number one in my life. It means anything that goes against Him, man, I put it one side. There's a cost to worship. Who is the builder that does not finish? Well, it's like this person who comes to church. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. They like it. Then they hear the message, tears, give their lives. What do? They go home. You guys have got to come to church. You've got to come to church. You've got to come to church. And then what happens the next step? You people are living such sinful lives. You're such sinners. Really. You're doing this, you're doing that. The way you smoke's all in your nose and all this kind of stuff. And they chirp. And they criticize their family's lifestyle. Criticize. And then what happens 6 months later? They flake out. Let me tell you, even in the history of our church, we have been a church that has been full of people that have come here. Man, Pastor Gav, this church is going to go places, man, and I'm going to be there with it, you know what I mean? The church is going to be built on my back, I tell you. And they're not here. They're not here. Those of you who've been here a while, you know. Some of you right now, you've got pictures in your mind of people. Faces that are passing by your eyes. Because it costs to be a disciple. And when they flake, their family ridicules. You're a Christian. Look at you. Look at you now. You're not only smoking all in your nose, you're smoking out your ear too. Look at you. You had all those things to say about me, now look at you. That's what they say. Look at you. And you call yourself a Christian? By the way, when people say that to me, I want to slap them. I say, let me show you an unchristian attitude. That's what I feel like, but when we flake out, the comment has merit. If you want to be a disciple of Jesus, it means giving up everything to follow Jesus. Luke 14:33, in the same way, any of you who does not give up everything he has cannot be my disciple. Now, this is not a law thing. It's a fact thing. I can't give my life to any other woman and be loyal to Vicky. I can only be loyal to one wife. I cannot be loyal to more than one wife. It's impossible. Even guys who say you can have multiple marriages, and there's many cultures that do that. Even in those cultures, there's always a favorite wife. Even the guys in the Bible who had more than one wife, there was always a favorite wife. And it's exactly the same with the Lord. Jesus' question here is, will you give up everything for him if he asks? If he asks you, will you give up one or more of your possessions? If he asks you, will you give up your opinions? If he asks you, will you give up people in your life? If he asks you, will you give up a job? There's so many different things he could ask you to give up. Would you give that up? And that's the question. Because anything or anyone you place before Jesus disqualifies you from the title disciple. If this is you, you could still be saved. But you will live a torn life. You will live a torn life all the time. And you will block Jesus' transforming power. And you will not do much with your life. And the issue is, I used to think that this was almost like a legalistic thing, but it's not. The fact is, I know how we work. You know what I'm saying? That at the end of the day, we can only be committed to one thing. All of us, it doesn't matter who we are, we're committed to one thing. And people are committed to many different things. In fact, if I look at young people are committed to music, man. Yeah, you say amen. It's not a good thing, eh? Some young people said amen. It's not a good thing. When it's Jay-Z or Snoop Dogg, it's not a good thing. Lil Wayne, Big Wayne, Thin Wayne, Fat Wayne, Beyonce, Lady Gaga. Young people, the challenge for young people, I'm telling you, Jesus will ask you to give up your music. He will. And many will say, this is pathetic, man. In fact, I know Shane has stood up and said it at boot camp, and people say, Shane, you're so pathetic. Until you look at what those people stand for. They stand for everything that's opposed to Jesus. And if you don't give it up, you can't be his disciple. How can you support and buy the music of someone who says Jesus can't save you, for example, as many of these artists do, and then say you're a disciple? But you're paying money to that oak or that chick that says that junk. And what I want to say to you is, if you want to be like them, that's fine. A few years ago, Lady Gaga had to be saved because she threw herself into a fire. If that's what you want to be like, be my guest. Just don't ask me to come when you're burnt. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z reckons he's Jehovah. He reckons he's God. I can guarantee you, you give me a nice a pistol, and if I go, I say, Jay-Z, just stand here, he'll die, and he will not rise again. Jay-Z is not God any more than I'm God. Any more than one of you are God. Yet we dress like him, pants down here. And you check the guys when they hold the marks. Yo. And I want to ask you, what is it that Jesus has asked you to give up? What is it that he's asked you to give up? If you're not prepared to give it up, you'll block Jesus' transforming power. You'll not do much with your life. And Brad Pitt, he said in that movie, World War Z, not that he's a Christian, but it was a good quote. In chaos, those on the move are normally those that survive. The world's in chaos all the time. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we live in a world that's full of chaos. And so if you're not on the move following Jesus, you've got issues. And here's the issue. If you're not willing to follow Jesus, if you are willing to follow Jesus, the result is that you'll be winning people to the kingdom. Doesn't matter where your calling is. Doesn't matter what you're called to do. You will be winning people to the kingdom, and your life will be transformed. Your life will be transformed. You'll be a totally different person to one that you used to be. You will change. I want to just finish off and say this. In life, you will follow someone. Everyone follows someone.
We're here to put Christ back into Christmas. Join us as we celebrate actively Christmas. And here are all the details you need. The United Carol services will take place on Sunday, the 22nd of December at the Active Church, Rosettenville. And our Christmas Day service, 9 a.m. at the Active Church, Selby. Celebrating Christ our King.
We're gonna make some noise. We'll rejoice for Christmas this year.
My soul yearns for you, how great you are, God. Beautifully gloriously robed, dressed up in sunshine, and all heaven stretched out for you, golden path leading to your throne. Blameless in your presence we stand, when all tears and pain are known. Everything you do is indescribable. My heart is filled with such gratitude. I wanna thank you, I wanna thank you. Your love and grace is inexplicable. Everything you do is indescribable. My heart is filled with such gratitude. I wanna thank you, I wanna thank you. You made all earth overflows with your wonderful creation. Your spirit awakens my soul, my heart welcomes your invasion. Just like Jesus gave thanks at the Last Supper, we thank you. We remember and bask in your royal everything you do is indescribable. My heart is filled grace is inexplicable. Everything you do is indescribable. My heart is filled with such gratitude. I wanna thank